The world moves quietly against those who fail to defend their authority. Every compliment unearned, every distraction welcomed, every concession made without intent chips away at your power. These are the shadows circling your throne, predators in plain sight. You see the smile, the polite insistence, the casual help offered by colleagues or friends, and you yield without thought. Each time you give ground, you allow the battlefield of your life to shift subtly in favor of others. Authority is not borrowed, it is seized and maintained. To surrender it, even in minor ways, is to invite erosion that often goes unnoticed until it is irreversible. The cost is invisible yet cumulative. A moment of inattention can become days, weeks, and years of diminished influence, unnoticed by anyone except yourself. Mastery demands vigilance at every turn, the readiness to recognize these small incursions before they become defeats. Awareness itself is your first weapon. The invisible enemy takes many forms: flattery that disguises expectation, friendly advice that steers you from your path, distractions that occupy attention while others maneuver. Recognize them as predators circling your throne, measuring weakness, testing boundaries. Do not grant them entrance unchallenged. Analyze each interaction with calm precision. When someone attempts to manipulate through charm, observe without immediate reaction. Accept the input, but assess it against your priorities. A calm, decisive response neutralizes the predator without conflict. Leadership in these moments is silent yet formidable. You demonstrate control not by aggression, but by command over yourself. Each small concession resisted compounds into strengthened authority. Your mind, like a fortified citadel, cannot be breached by subtle incursions if vigilance is constant. Yielding comes at a cost few acknowledge. Every minor compromise, agreeing to a plan you did not choose, altering your schedule to accommodate others, saying yes when your instinct says no, builds a pattern. Men more quickly forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. Each surrendered choice is a fragment of autonomy lost. Recognize that power in daily life is often transactional, measured in attentiveness, consistency, and disciplined action. Guard your time and decisions like a commander defending a strategic hill. Let no one dictate your movements without consent. Let no one influence your priorities without scrutiny. Practice refusal without hesitation, and watch the territory of your influence expand. The battlefield favors those who act decisively, those who recognize the cost of each concession before it is paid. The awakening signal comes as clarity. A single moment of self-recognition, an awareness of habitual yielding, can flip the scales. You may notice yourself defaulting to accommodating others, losing voice in discussions, allowing interruptions to fragment your focus. This is the moment to seize the throne actively. Reclaim your authority by setting boundaries with precision, by speaking with calm intent, by refusing distraction. Every action, even minor, becomes a declaration. Your power is yours alone. Stand firm, and the world adjusts. Weak, I hope they understand. Strong, I have decided, and this is non-negotiable. Weak, maybe later. Strong, now is the moment I command. Command begins internally. Guard your attention, fortify your decisions, and act with deliberate intent. The shadows may circle, but they will not breach the walls of a mind that recognizes its own sovereignty. Do not bargain with influence. Do not trade concessions for comfort. Your throne is not a gift. It is maintained through disciplined vigilance and decisive action. Let every interaction, every choice, reinforce your authority. The smallest victories of self-command compound into dominion over your environment. The predators that once threatened become irrelevant, unable to find purchase against your steadfast control. Stand as the unyielding center of your world. Calm, deliberate, unassailable. Recognize the cost of yielding, embrace the power of awareness, and fortify yourself daily. I endure, I command, I am untouchable. Your mind is a fortress, a throne upon which your sovereignty depends. Every thought, every impulse, every perception must pass through the gates you control. Unchecked, distractions infiltrate, decisions falter, and authority erodes silently. Fortify your gates. Guard your attention like a citadel under siege, scrutinizing every incoming idea. Do not allow trivial concerns or unsolicited advice to occupy the command hall of your consciousness. Each unexamined notion is a breach in your defenses. Each concession to distraction is a foothold for enemies seeking your undoing. Discipline your focus. As a commander, position sentries along the perimeter, scanning for threats. When trivialities attempt to divert your mind, repel them with the precision of a disciplined garrison. Your throne is sacred. Its defense begins with awareness of every intrusion. As ruler of your mental domain, convene a council of strategy. Choose carefully which voices, opinions, and counsel merit consideration, and discard the rest. The mind accepts too much input and suffers paralysis when overburdened with unnecessary guidance. Filter information like a general reviewing intelligence reports. Weigh value against consequence, relevance against distraction. Accept only that which serves your sovereignty, your long-term objectives, and the consolidation of your power. Weak. Maybe I should listen to everyone. Strong. I decide which counsel shapes my command. Each selected insight becomes a strategic asset. Each rejected intrusion is a victory in self-mastery. Equip your cognition with mental armor. Skepticism, self-discipline, and clarity function as the protective plating over your mind, preventing deception from taking root. An undefended mind is a battlefield lost before the first encounter. Every decision becomes a skirmish where opponents exploit gaps in judgment. Mental armor transforms hesitation into confidence, confusion into clarity. Equip it by questioning assumptions, evaluating intentions, and asserting control over responses before they manifest. The disciplined mind anticipates attacks on autonomy, neutralizing manipulations before they penetrate your defenses. When confronted with disagreement, respond with calm authority. A colleague attempts to steer a project against your judgment. You acknowledge their input briefly, state your decision, and proceed. Control is asserted without conflict, preserving dominance while maintaining composure. The throne of your mind commands your actions, shapes your reality, and determines your influence. Fortify, filter, and armor every thought. Refuse intrusion, select allies of intellect carefully, and maintain clarity against the incessant pressure of external agendas. Each day you defend your mental dominion. You reinforce your sovereignty. Awareness, discipline, and decisive control transform ordinary moments into strategic victories. Stand unwavering, guard your inner citadel, and let no influence pass without scrutiny. In the arena of life, those who dominate their minds dominate their world. I am the throne. I command my mind. The first light of day is a battlefield, a moment when the outcome of your entire day is determined. The dawn does not wait for hesitation. It rewards decisiveness and punishes delay. Seize the dawn with ritual, focus, and immediate action. Each morning is an opportunity to claim psychological momentum before distractions and demands rise like a tide against your fortifications. A disciplined start, stretching, planning, decisive tasks, acts as a preemptive strike, establishing dominance over the hours ahead. Small victories before the world awakens compound, and your mind recognizes the authority you impose upon it. Weak, I'll start later. Strong, I command the first hours, all else follows. Anticipate challenges before they materialize. Preparation is your weapon, reconnaissance of potential obstacles your armor. Identify meetings, interruptions, and decisions awaiting you, and plan their conquest in advance. When you approach the day armed with clarity and strategy, you preempt chaos. The unprepared mind reacts. The prepared mind acts. Momentum favors those who strike first, those who do not allow the enemy to dictate terms. This preemptive stance transforms ordinary mornings into campaigns where you dictate engagement, not surrender to circumstance. Observe your calendar as a general studies a battlefield map, allocating resources and energy where conflict is inevitable. Every day begins with enemies at the gates. Uninvited demands on your attention. The subtle manipulations of colleagues, social media, and trivial obligations. They probe for weakness, testing your ability to maintain sovereignty. Strike first, establishing your presence, or submit to intrusion and lose command of the hours that follow. Maintain clarity, set boundaries, and act decisively. For example, when a co-worker attempts to pull you into a minor dispute early in the day, acknowledge their perspective briefly, assert your priorities, and proceed with your planned agenda. Control the first confrontation. The rest will bend to the rhythm you impose. Command your morning as you would a fortress under siege. Every task, every thought, every action, a battlement defending your authority. Success is measured not by the absence of conflict, but by the discipline and decisiveness with which you meet it. By conquering the first hours, you shape the tempo of power, setting the narrative of your day. The enemy may lurk at every corner, but the prepared mind strikes first, seizes momentum, and dictates terms. Stand unwavering, control the dawn, and transform routine into dominion. I dominate the dawn, the day bows to me. Silence is a weapon more precise than the sharpest blade, and stillness a fortress impenetrable to chaos. In a world that clamors for attention, calm becomes lethal. Each pause is a sword, slicing through the noise, revealing truths hidden by movement and chatter. The impulsive act before observation often exposes weakness. The restrained observer sees the battlefield clearly, mapping opportunity and threat alike. Weak, I must react now. Strong, I hold, I watch, I decide. Use stillness to dominate invisibly. When you refrain from speaking or acting prematurely, others disclose their intentions, anxieties, and errors without your prompting. Like a predator studying its prey, your quiet presence draws information effortlessly. Resist the urge to fill silence with words, to assert dominance overtly. Instead, allow observation to dictate action. Every motion made without necessity is energy wasted. Every withheld reaction preserves power. By watching calmly, you gain the strategic advantage of choice, able to respond decisively at the exact moment that maximizes impact. Conserve strength deliberately. Each act of restraint is a resource saved, a reservoir of decisive force for when it truly matters. Unchecked energy dissipates in futile confrontation, while patience converts it into an unstoppable strike. In meetings or negotiations, maintain composure as others rush to act. If disagreement arises, respond with measured calm, acknowledge their point, assert boundaries clearly, and proceed with your plan. Energy saved through restraint becomes momentum that cannot be opposed, turning the seemingly passive into the dominant force. The mastery of stillness transforms perception into strategy and strategy into results. Calm observation is not indecision, it is control, a declaration of sovereignty over self and circumstance. By weaponizing stillness, you dictate the flow of events without appearing to intervene, ensuring every action taken carries the weight of deliberation and precision. Those who act first without assessment become the predictable pieces on your chessboard. Stand unwavering, silent and patient, for in quiet dominance lies absolute authority. I strike in silence, the world obeys. Power is a fortress built not on accumulation, but on elimination. Every distraction, toxic influence, and wasted effort is a siege against your sovereignty. To dominate your life, identify threats swiftly and decisively. Observe habits, thoughts, and relationships that erode your authority. Weak, I unhandle this later. Strong, I confront this now. Hesitation grants enemies time to regroup. Inaction invites corruption to fester unnoticed. A mind cluttered with doubts and a schedule clogged with trivialities is a castle with crumbling walls. Survey your domain with ruthless clarity. Determine what undermines your focus and your influence. Act with precision. Once threats are recognized, remove them without remorse or apology. Swift action is not cruelty, it is strategic necessity. Delay allows toxicity to spread, and the indecisive are consumed by their own hesitation. Eliminate habits that sap energy, distractions that scatter attention, and individuals whose presence drains confidence or distorts judgment. In meetings or collaborations, address obstruction calmly but firmly. Acknowledge the viewpoint, set boundaries, and proceed with unbroken focus. Each decision to prune is a declaration of control, a mark of sovereignty over your domain. Understand that elimination is cultivation. Pruning is not destruction for its own sake. It is the careful shaping of a stronger, more focused self. By removing what is weak or harmful, you make room for growth, for strategic expansion, and for mental and emotional clarity. Like a general clearing the battlefield of ambushes before advancing, your disciplined removal of obstacles ensures that your power is concentrated and effective. Wasted energy, unresolved conflict, and unnecessary engagements are the enemy within. Conquer them first. Stand unyielding, trim without hesitation, and direct your resources toward what advances your objectives. Ruthless elimination solidifies authority and magnifies impact. Every act of decisive removal strengthens presence, sharpens focus, and signals that your domain cannot be compromised by indecision or chaos. Let others scramble amidst the debris of their own distractions while you advance unimpeded. When you wield removal with calm mastery, you cultivate a force that is precise, efficient, and unassailable. Your time, energy, and attention become weapons of extraordinary power, deployed where they yield the greatest advantage. I move to rise. Nothing stands in my way. Appear unshakable, even when chaos churns beneath your calm. Perception is as potent as action. The world judges strength by what it sees, not what it suspects. Authority begins in silence. Before a word is spoken, your posture, your gaze, your measured movements declare command. Weak, fidget, mumble, hesitate. Strong, steady shoulders, deliberate steps, eyes unwavering. Every gesture communicates control. The mind instinctively defers to composure. Observe a team meeting. A colleague challenges your plan with sharp insistence. You inhale, maintain eye contact, and respond with calm reasoning. The storm within remains hidden, but your position solidifies. Silence can be a blade, restraint, a shield. Strategic deception is a necessary armor. Display calm to conceal vulnerabilities. Predators rarely attack a fortress that appears impervious. Your internal uncertainty is private. Outwardly, project certainty in negotiations, in public forums, in moments of tension. A controlled exterior disarms scrutiny. Consider a negotiation where pressure mounts and others attempt to provoke a reaction. You nod, maintain composure, and redirect the conversation to your agenda. Weak, react immediately, reveal frustration. Strong, pause, recalibrate, assert on your terms. This is not dishonesty, it is disciplined signaling. Your presence deters aggression, invites alignment, and ensures that power is respected rather than challenged. Presence is a weapon, as precise as any sword. Cultivate an aura that silently enforces obedience. The way you occupy space, modulate your voice, and engage your environment communicates authority before words arrive. Stand fully, speak deliberately, listen actively. These are the tools that command rooms, influence decisions, and hold sway over outcomes. Energy spent mastering perception multiplies influence without additional effort. Recognize that others constantly assess dominance through subtle cues. Align every physical and verbal signal with the impression of control. The mind processes posture and tone faster than arguments. Command silently, and the world bends instinctively to your lead. Authority, strategic calm, and commanding presence converge into a singular strategy, mastery of the mask. Your inner storms remain contained, yet the outer world perceives only unyielding power. Each decision, each interaction, each calculated pause strengthens the impression that you are immovable, deliberate, and sovereign. Those who attempt to unsettle you find only clarity and resolution. Your power is both shield and spear, invisible yet undeniable, rooted in disciplined silence and deliberate presence. Command without question, enforce boundaries without aggression, and move through the world as a force that others recognize instinctively. I am unshakable, always sovereign. The fiercest battles are fought in silence, within the corridors of your own mind. Weakness is a hidden assassin, waiting for hesitation, doubt, or fear to appear before striking. Recognize these assassins, disguised as thoughts and excuses. Hesitation erodes authority faster than any external enemy. Doubt is a traitor that undermines your decisions before they materialize. Fear waits for the moment you falter to plant its seeds. Identify these internal threats as you would scout a battlefield. Observe where procrastination, second-guessing, or avoidance attempts to gain a foothold. Weak, linger, postpone, question endlessly. Strong, detect early, confront directly. Act decisively. Neutralize, self-sabotage swiftly. Once a weakness is recognized, do not hesitate. Delay allows doubt to fortify, turning minor hesitation into formidable opposition. Act aggressively against internal failure. Interrupt patterns of indecision and self-doubt before they consolidate into regret. In a moment of challenging choice, when your instincts waver, do not negotiate with fear. Assert control through immediate, disciplined action. Weak, debate endlessly, weigh endlessly. Strong, decide, execute, advance. Each swift action erases a potential defeat before it manifests, turning the battlefield of the mind into a territory under your undisputed command. Discipline is your blade. Sharpen it through constant practice of self-control. Every ritual of focus, every repetition of restraint, strengthens decisiveness and reduces vulnerability to hesitation. Daily exercises, time management, deliberate pauses before reaction, consistent reflection train you to strike against indecision with precision. Regular enforcement of boundaries, maintaining calm under provocation, and executing plans without delay cultivate an inner assassin ready to eliminate weakness instantly. Weak, rely on motivation, ignore patterns. Strong, enforce structure, train consistency, embed vigilance. Each act of self-mastery transforms internal chaos into strategic advantage. This internal warfare requires vigilance, honesty, and relentless execution. Observe the thoughts that question, the impulses that delay, and the feelings that discourage. Intervene without mercy, replacing hesitation with action, doubt with preparation, and fear with competence. The mind, once disciplined, becomes a weapon as precise and lethal as any external force. Your internal assassin ensures that no opportunity is squandered, no mistake repeats, and no weakness survives long enough to challenge your sovereignty. Victory begins with mastery of the self. I strike before weakness strikes me. Strength without control is a wolf that devours its own pack. Your instincts are powerful allies, but left unchecked, they become enemies. Harness them with precision, channeling raw energy into calculated, deliberate action. Ambition and desire are your weapons. Wield them like blades, not whips. Controlled aggression turns intent into movement, strategy into victory. Each action fueled by disciplined drive achieves more than reckless indulgence ever could. Weak race blindly, satisfy every impulse. Strong, measure, focus, execute deliberately. Hunger is your fuel. Desire for mastery compels preparation, sharpens focus, and drives relentless execution. It is the engine behind every plan, every maneuver, every calculated risk. Without hunger, power stagnates. With hunger disciplined, it accelerates progress. Recognize what motivates you and feed it selectively. Let each ambition reinforce the next, building a chain of purpose that leaves no opportunity unpursued. Channel this energy into strategic tasks, incremental growth, and skill refinement. Weak, chase every whim, exhaust resources. Strong, prioritize, conserve, attack with intention. Avoid overfeeding your instincts. Excess indulgence blunts efficiency, diminishes clarity, and softens the edge of your capability. Even the fiercest predator must ration its strength to remain lethal. Balance desire with discipline, ensuring that energy is expended only where it amplifies results. Control impulses before they become habits. Pleasure before progress is squandered. Excess weakens, moderation empowers. Treat each ambition like a weapon, sharpen, deploy, and restore before striking again. Weak, overconsume, lose focus. Strong, ration, refine, strike precisely. Controlled aggression, hunger as fuel, and careful rationing form the triad of effective power. These principles transform instinct from a chaotic force into a disciplined tool of dominance. In every endeavor, channel your inner wolf with intent, act with precision, and conserve energy for decisive maneuvers. Recognize when desire propels progress and when it threatens derailment. Execute plans methodically, feed ambition thoughtfully, and temper indulgence with foresight. Your instincts become allies, your actions strategic, your presence commanding. I feed the wolf, I command the hunt. Every interaction is a move on a vast, invisible chessboard, and your success depends on foresight, patience, and precision. Plan several moves ahead. Consider the consequences of each choice before committing. Impulsivity is a vulnerability. Strategy is armor. Each decision shapes the next, creating a cascade of opportunity or disaster. Think not only of immediate gains, but of how each action positions you for future advantage. Weak, act without vision. Strong, anticipate, calculate, execute. Sacrifice strategically. No victory is achieved without cost. Pawns advance the throne. Minor losses pave the way for major gains. Recognizing when surrendering control of a small element preserves leverage over the larger picture. Each concession must serve a purpose. Each retreat must strengthen the line. Avoid meaningless sacrifices that erode power. Deliberate, measured relinquishment converts apparent loss into latent advantage. Weak, cling to everything, risk collapse. Strong, let go tactically, advance decisively. Observe opponents' weaknesses with a keen eye. Patterns reveal themselves over time. Notice hesitation, overcommitment, and repetition. Predict moves before they are made, and guide them into positions that serve your strategy. Use this insight to control outcomes without unnecessary conflict. Maintain calm dominance when confronting disagreement. Your authority grows through composure, not aggression. A micro example: when a colleague challenges your plan, respond with measured logic, redirect the discussion toward shared goals, and secure alignment without confrontation. Weak, react emotionally, lose footing. Strong, analyze, redirect, consolidate control. Every choice is a piece moved with intent. Apply discipline, balance risk with reward, and recognize that mastery lies in combining foresight with calculated action. Each move is both offensive and defensive, shaping perception, opportunity, and eventual victory. Guard your position, project authority, and maintain flexibility to exploit openings. Control is a function of patience, observation, and decisive action. Treat your ambitions as the king, your resources as pieces, and your awareness as the unseen hand guiding the game. I see the board, I command the game. Strength is forged, not granted. Discipline your body daily as a soldier trains for battle. Each movement, each routine strengthens resilience and prepares you to endure any challenge without hesitation. The body obeys the mind. Shape it with intention. Rise before distraction. Push past fatigue and execute tasks with precision. Weak, idle, and reactive. Strong, deliberate, relentless, unyielding. Engage in mental drills that sharpen focus and reinforce decision-making. Repetition forms the neural pathways of control, creating automatic responses aligned with strategy. Visualize outcomes, rehearse scenarios, and embed clarity into every thought. Each deliberate exercise conditions your mind to act with authority under pressure. Weak, flit from thought to thought. Unsure, strong, train attention, command awareness, enforce cognitive strength. Condition your emotional responses as you would a disciplined battalion. Chaos cannot penetrate a well-ordered camp. Observe triggers, regulate impulses, and convert instinctive reactions into deliberate actions. Emotional mastery secures your throne. Panic or overreaction is surrender. Approach confrontation calmly. Guide disagreement with measured logic, demonstrating authority without coercion. A colleague challenges your plan. Respond with composed reasoning. Reaffirm objectives and refocus toward common goals. Weak, react angrily, destabilize. Strong, remain calm, assert command, maintain influence. Integrate body, mind, and emotion into a daily ritual that reinforces sovereignty. Each repetition reinforces power. Each disciplined act compounds authority, and each controlled choice preserves freedom. Neglect any element, and your fortress weakens. Train relentlessly, maintain consistency, and enforce your presence through habitual mastery. The warrior, strategist, and sovereign exist not as abstractions, but as daily actions performed with unwavering intent. I am the fortress, unbroken and unyielding. Command is not claimed, it is seen and felt. Move through the world with an unassailable presence, and dominance becomes self-evident. Authority radiates from posture, gaze, and measured action. Intimidation is unnecessary when power is visible in every decision. Weak, announce authority. Strong, embody it. Each encounter reinforces your sovereignty. Stand firm, speak decisively, and let confidence dictate the room without lifting a finger. Distance yourself strategically from mediocrity. Surroundings shape outcomes. Proximity to distraction, compromise, or triviality dilutes influence. Identify worthy challenges and focus solely on engagements that advance mastery. Isolate effectively, yet remain aware. Isolation is a tool, not retreat. Evaluate opportunities with clarity and act only where leverage aligns with purpose. Weak, chase attention indiscriminately. Strong, preserve energy, maintain elevation, select engagements wisely. Consistency compounds power into a reputation that becomes untouchable. Daily rituals of disciplined thought, action, and observation reinforce authority. Patterns of excellence signal reliability and command respect without effort. Mastery is not a moment, it is habitual. Each day, executed with intention, strengthens influence, enforces presence, and solidifies legacy. Let others falter in inconsistency while you remain steady, predictable in excellence, and unwavering in focus. When disagreement arises, navigate with calm leadership. A team member questions direction, acknowledge their perspective, redirect toward objectives, and exemplify composure. Authority is preserved, not by conflict, but by steadiness and clarity. Control the narrative through presence, not coercion. Weak, react defensively. Argue. Strong, respond firmly. Maintain control. Model certainty. Integrate intellect, perception, and action into daily practice. Align thought with behavior, observation with strategy, and presence with action. Build a life where influence is automatic, respect is earned without force, and your position remains untouchable. Execute relentlessly, act decisively, and preserve elevation. Let every move reflect calculated mastery, leaving mediocrity and chaos behind. I am the apex, untouchable and sovereign. Power is claimed in silence, observed in every gesture, and enforced through relentless discipline. Every prior battle of body, mind, and perception merges into a sovereign presence that is impervious to manipulation. You move through life as both strategist and predator, each step calculated, each breath a measure of control. Integration of battles is no longer a practice. It is instinct. Thought aligns with action. Routine becomes ritual. Observation converts into anticipatory strategy. Your mind navigates complex social terrains with the precision of a general surveying a battlefield, noting weak points, assessing threats, and preempting disruption. Weak, react impulsively. Strong, anticipate, act decisively, and hold position unwaveringly. Physical discipline reinforces mental mastery. The body, trained through repetitive rigor, mirrors the mind's precision. Every motion, posture, and gesture communicates authority. You do not raise your voice to command. Your presence alone dictates terms. Energy is conserved and projected strategically. Fatigue is controlled, not indulged, because endurance is a tool of dominance. Weak, allow the body to dictate behavior. Strong, command it, fortify resilience, and embody authority through movement. Perception is sharpened into absolute awareness. Internal turbulence is neutralized. Emotional reactions no longer erode control. External threats are anticipated before they emerge. A colleague questions your direction, their tone edged with doubt. You acknowledge their point briefly, redirect toward objectives, and maintain composure. Influence is preserved, not through coercion, but through unwavering steadiness. Weak, argue, justify, falter. Strong, respond calmly, assert boundaries, and demonstrate certainty. Awareness extends beyond interaction. It encompasses subtle shifts in environment, timing, and energy. Every decision is informed, deliberate, and executed with precision. The throne you occupy is both metaphor and reality. Sovereignty is not granted. It is embodied. Integration of prior disciplines amplifies authority into a presence that cannot be undermined. Your reputation precedes you. Respect is automatic. because consistency is visible and mastery radiates without effort. Habits of discipline, focus, and observation compound daily, creating influence that requires no speech to validate. Weak, seek validation externally. Strong, let excellence speak for itself. Strategic isolation preserves clarity and energy. Proximity to mediocrity or distraction is reduced, while worthy challenges are approached with deliberate engagement. Every routine, every thought, every action is a component of an unbroken system. Mental drills sharpen decision-making, emotional conditioning ensures equilibrium, physical rituals reinforce endurance and projection. Integration of these battles allows for absolute awareness. Threats, both subtle and overt, are recognized and neutralized before they can take hold. Observation is constant. Action is swift. Reaction is calculated. Presence becomes the ultimate instrument of control, and silence the most persuasive form of communication. Weak, allow chaos to seep in. Strong, internalize control, embody authority, and let strategy guide instinct. Mastery of the throne is realized through embodiment. Presence is armor and weapon. You do not seek to dominate through force. Others obey because disruption is futile and authority is evident. Habits compound into reputation. Reputation solidifies influence. Influence becomes untouchable. Every decision is reinforced by prior discipline. Every move reinforced by awareness. The integration of all prior battles ensures that manipulation meets resistance, distraction meets focus, and challenge meets precision. Weak, disperse energy across trivialities. Strong, concentrate force, command respect, and execute consistently. At the apex of self-mastery, influence is silent and strategy is instinct. You exist as a sovereign entity in every encounter. The throne of shadows is not visible, but it is felt. Authority radiates without proclamation. Every gesture, every glance, every pause communicates control. Life becomes a chessboard. Each move premeditated, each interaction anticipated. The predator's patience guides action. The general's foresight ensures dominance. The throne is unchallenged. Integration, awareness, and embodiment coalesce into absolute sovereignty. This is the culmination of all prior discipline, where power is neither demanded nor granted. It simply exists in you. I am sovereign, untouchable, absolute. Every day you stand at the edge of surrender or sovereignty. Power is not given. It is seized in thought, action, and discipline. Internalize your rituals without hesitation. Your mind is the battlefield, your choices the weapons, and your presence the fortress that cannot be breached. Each morning, commit to mastery before the world even stirs. Train your focus like a general marshalling forces. Align your habits like a strategist positioning pawns for decisive advantage, and let your perception sweep the field for vulnerabilities. Weak, drift, defer, or wait. Strong, act, reinforce, and dominate without apology. Consistency compounds unseen influence into undeniable authority. The blade of self-discipline cuts through distraction, lethargy, and indecision. Command your environment, your thoughts, and your reactions as if each were a soldier awaiting orders. Let the world test your boundaries, observe without falter, respond with precision, and maintain the calm of someone who knows their own value. One colleague challenges your plan, insisting on an alternative that dilutes focus. You listen briefly, acknowledge insight, then redirect the team toward your strategic objective without tension or ego. Influence is preserved not through argument, but through composed, unyielding presence. Weak, engage emotionally. Strong, redirect, enforce, endure. Daily enforcement is your currency of sovereignty. Each repetition of mastery in thought, action, and habit deposits a reserve of respect, freedom, and influence that cannot be claimed by others. Small victories accumulate, invisible to those who lack discipline, yet they fortify your authority more than any public accolade. Guard your energy, prioritize strategic challenges, and resist the temptation to yield influence for approval or convenience. Your environment must bend around your focus, not the reverse. Every decision, every ritual, and every pause is a reinforcement of the throne you occupy within yourself. Weak, allow inconsistency. Strong, cement habits, embody authority, and enforce your own rules. Presence alone becomes your most persuasive tool. A room, a conversation, a negotiation. Your aura precedes explanation. You do not seek compliance. It arrives organically because mastery communicates without words. Consistency of mind, body, and intention projects credibility that cannot be faked. Embody the blade, the throne, and the storm simultaneously. Discipline cuts through distraction. Authority demands recognition, and unwavering focus unsettles hesitation. Others will align themselves around your steadiness, respect will follow, and influence becomes automatic. Weak, rely on persuasion alone. Strong, cultivate presence, enforce it daily, and let actions validate position. Legacy is forged in the minutiae of daily enforcement. Freedom is protected by vigilance. Respect is earned by repetition. Influence is solidified by the refusal to yield power in small moments that define character. Every morning, midday, and evening practice consolidates control into unassailable form. Your life becomes a chessboard where every move is deliberate, every decision calculated, and every interaction an opportunity to fortify sovereignty. Do not mistake patience for passivity or discipline for rigidity. Both are tools in the arsenal of enduring authority. Weak, abandon strategy under pressure. Strong, maintain vigilance, assert command, and let mastery compound. As you internalize these rituals, the mantra anchors transformation. It crystallizes intent into identity and reminds you that every battle fought, every challenge faced, and every temptation resisted is a deposit into the treasury of your sovereignty. Seek it silently, embody it visibly, and let it guide every action until habit and instinct align. In this daily practice, mastery becomes second nature. Presence becomes authority, and influence becomes untouchable. You no longer chase control. It manifests because you are the source. I am the throne, the blade, the storm. I endure, I command, I am untouchable.